Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Okay, we've had some news already hit the wire. Asia with the gap and go overnight so far. Repricing all of yesterday's price action. And we've got some more news to come at market open, 9:45 and 10 o'clock. But as always, we're going to start with the chart, starting with the daily. Okay, so as we said, all week long, a dip down into here is probably going to be a fantastic buying opportunity. All right, for swing longs, all right, unfortunately, when we're trading like we are, we can't hold positions unless you're trading cash accounts. So this is what we're forming. This is what we kept talking about. This right here was your RBS level. This was the breakout retest level for swing longs to get involved. It's where shorts chased, hoping to get a huge breakdown when there was absolutely no reason to think that we'd rotate down here. And we're now doing what? We're building that daily flag, building liquidity, and the stops, the shorts who are caught in here, can fuel this move now back through this high, local high, and then all-time highs. So that's what we're looking at. Is there a way to get up towards all-time highs today or in the next few days using those stops we created yesterday? Moving into the higher time frames, let's go down into the hourly and you'll see what I mean. Right, so hourly, dip down into that daily level, right down here. We're now building that inverse head and shoulder. Now, annoyingly, it's done it overnight. It would have been very nice, as what I kept saying to the team. I would have loved us to hang out here yesterday and then present this opportunity today for us. Fortunately, Asia and London have taken that opportunity to do this move because the low hanging fruit, number one, is there, previous day high. So they've already taken it. All right, so we've got to be cautious on that because the buying opportunity was in here overnight. So if we're very, very lucky, right, we'll get some form of pullback into here, a bullish pattern to go back up, right, if we're very, very, very lucky. Otherwise, it's possible it holds out here and just goes straight squeezing, right, which is going to be very, very hard to get involved as a buying opportunity. We do have sort of a little downtrend like this that we can think about, all right? So have to just be aware of that. If we're going to get a failed breakout above yesterday's high, which is where we're at right now, and we get a rotation into here, that is a counter trend leg into here. At this point, you'd be expecting bulls to come in. So if we don't get this kind of move here, and we start to get heavy in here, building liquidity, you've got to be careful of that rotation back down. Point of control, and if it lets go of that previous day low. Remember, we have lots of sort of double bottoms and like lots of liquidity down there on the lower time frame chart. So let's just look at that quickly now on the 5 minute. Right, so if we start to let go of previous day high, we would love to see it absorbed. Ideally, the top of London and Asia range into this level here, into around 170. All right, 170 would be nice if it can absorb that. That would show me strength. If it starts to get weak, right, and hunt, remember this is a big squeeze out. If it starts to hunt, we've got the Globex low down here at 22,100. If it starts to let go of that, we can think about this down here. You have these relative equal lows, tons of buyers stops down here. So if it starts to rotate, you have to be aware of that. Do not be buying if we start to rotate. Okay, this will be a nasty wash. This would be a reprice up to come all the way back down. Remember, the best play here really is a retest of that low to get long. We would have much rather been like this overnight, retest this low today, slingshot up, build the shoulder and go. We can only trade what's in front of us, though. So I have to be very, very aware of these levels. Moving into the super low time frame, you'll see what I'm talking about. That red line going across your screen right now, oh, this red line here, all right, is previous day high. So we've swept it and we're trading inside. Gap fill will be to here. This is your gap fill, this yellow line down here. So if it wants to gap fill, it can come into that Asia-London range for the gap fill. Again, if it wants to fail that, we can look at previous day point of control and even lower demand and previous day low, even lower. So those are the things I'm looking at. Let me just check what this is from. What is that from? I can go night, night, don't need you. Okay, let's have a quick look at the market then. How long we got? 6 minutes. All right, Apple inside yesterday's range, looking for a drive here pre-market, but coming back to previous day close right now. Microsoft gapping up, but it's still inside yesterday's range. Amazon gapping up, still inside yesterday's range. Google gapping up outside of yesterday's range looks the strongest that I've looked at out of the Mag 7 right now. So Google will be hunting now for 188.72. That would be the next level you can hunt for. Microsoft gapping up, starting to turn around now, trading back towards VWAP again, still inside yesterday's range. It needs to sort of hold yesterday's IB high. Nvidia did gap up, took previous day high, now trading back to previous day close. So still inside of yesterday's range with a sweep. And Tesla very much similar, gapped up and then trading back to PDC. So going to open flat on the day. So we need to be aware here. We cannot get too bullish in sentiment, trying to make this market get up here and here. All right, we are still technically in range. Let's just remember that, team. This is the old range where we're at right now, previous day high. Right, the old range is basically, let's just zoom out a little bit. Right, this is a failed breakout of the old range. Remember, we closed inside a previous day low. That's where breakout shorts are trapped. They're trapped in here right now. They shorted this, looking for a big rotation, right? So it's a failed breakout of the old range. So most of the old range is in here, which is where we are right now. Rotation, 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 rotation. Big old bear flag, remember, on the hourly and daily, maybe for this move up. Okay, so it has to sit. We have to see. I don't want to just keep buying it if it drifts higher. It's going to be a pain. If they've got too many shorts stuck and they do that move, it's going to be hard to join in. That's just how it is. Unfortunately, sometimes when we get these moves and they don't base out down here for us to take the next day for this move, unless they retest and hold, it's going to be a little tricky to participate as a buyer. But that's just how it is, right? We trade what the market gives us. Trade what is in front of us. Let's save this, do one more refresh to start the day. Obviously, nothing has helped. And we get through some good mornings. All right, good morning, chats. Morning, Ramos, Clint, Jeff, TR, Vince, BU, DJ Noah, Miguel, Marek, Christy, Exister, Coop, Eva. Oh, screen jump then. Thumper, Mindful Matters, Stephen C, Peter Curry, Leron Williams, Array, Trentry, Miguel Bardwell, Earl, Khalees, Crawford, Indicator, Ian Gervin, Mr. Slim, Thor, Jesse M. Good morning, everyone. Hope you had some good rest. Did any of you manage to catch that long overnight? Were any of you trading London and Asia and able to catch that long? Yeah, it does. You're right, Aaron. You're right. We're in boot camp right now. Trading boot camp. Having a quick look at the book. Let's have a look at what we've got. Some orders have just come on here. So I'm trying to see where some buyers might be hanging out. 22,185. Small lots down there. 22,250 for the sell. Ramos got it. Very nice, mate. Peter Curry got it. It's the nice thing about living in Europe, isn't it? Stephen W got it. Al Sam Jr., good morning, my friend. Stephen, good morning. All right, so book's starting to thin out. We're 90 seconds from the open. I'm going to remind you, we have news today. All right, 9:45 and 10 o'clock. Let me just make sure I got that right. Pretty sure it is. Yes. Okay, 9:45 PMI, 10 o'clock consumer sentiment. All right, once we get through that, let me just close this a little bit. Once we get through that, we have a clear day ahead of us. There's some Fed speakers later, but I will not be around for them. All right, so hopefully the market's kind, we get a dip and a hold, and we can think about that move all the way back to highs. If we cannot hold any dips, then, or I don't know what, then really, then we're just going to keep washing back towards yesterday's lows probably, and we just have to judge it as and when that happens. There is news already starting to hit the wire here. 30 seconds, team. So far, failed breakout of that high. You can see we rolled over and it's coming back down to test where we found bids. Remember, Previous day close, gap fill down here at 140. That is possible right now. It's in a hurry to get down there by the looks of it. I'm just going to wait, let this market open, see what's what, and we're going to go from there. Make sure my charts are set up nicely. Here's the open, back to VWAP for the open. Do we get that move to PDC? So holding VWAP for now. So I'm just checking the ETFs and putting my levels in here. Already underneath, is that right? Already underneath previous day close on the ES. Wow. It's coming back towards those pre-market dips here on the ES. Already down there. Wow, 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 wow. Very different charts right now. QQQ with a bit further to go to get for that gap fill. Once we get down there, we're going to think about what's next, right? If we can get down to 140s, oh, sorry about that, team. If we can get down here, fill the gap and hold, right? We're looking, remember, ideally, we're going to hold the top of London Asia range, which we're sort of in already, this blue box. If we start failing that, we can hunt for the Asia and London low, Globex low, which will be 100. Let's have a look at the market. Mixed bag in the market right now. It just looks like it wants to go for that gap fill. Remember, ES already filled the gap. ES looking very, very, very weak by comparison. QQQ close to the gap. We're getting close to the gap here. Book's very thin. There's no one on this book right now. No bids, no one participating right now. Let's have a look at the market. Tesla, 0.5% down. Nvidia, 1/3% down. Meta, 0.75% up. Google, 0.12% up. Amazon, 1/3% down. Microsoft starting to sell. Apple starting to sell. So a big failed breakout of previous day high. Here's the gap fill. Remember, we're not just buying this. All right. We are in negative momentum right now. No reason to buy this yet. There's nothing on the tape saying to buy it. But there's your gap fill. So into the yellow line and finding a bid. All right. So an efficient market. So that's the first bid or first cover point for the shorts who took previous day high. Now remember, if we're going to rotate, the next level that it's going to look for is into 105. And if we let go of that, it's into 2250, which will be the volume, the biggest volume that we created yesterday. Right, we're into most of the volume that we created overnight. There is a big bounce off that gap fill there, all the way back up towards VWAP now, probably. I'm just going to have to see what's what. Let this shake out. Remember, we've got news to come. You can see how important understanding those cash gaps are at the open already. Big failure above previous day high. While we were talking, it just smoked all the way down into that gap fill. How we act now will be key. Right? How we act now will be key in towards VWAP. Big divergence is that the SPY and ES has the gap fill way, way above it. All right, it got absolutely clapped through that, whereas we've just filled it. So do they put the squeeze on here? Is this enough for them to bid? This is what I was saying. Didn't want to buy high today. It's potential that we get a buying opportunity down here. The problem is we've got no structure to buy off. If this just rejects and wants to come to check previous day point of control and even previous day lows, it can. Momentum's very heavy right now. I'm not looking to buy this. There's nothing here other than the gap fill to say buy it right now. All right, momentum is very, very heavy. It's not like we've created some bullish momentum down here. Could argue it's a cheap buy off that gap fill though. I'm just going to let this shake out for a little bit this morning. Move this in so I can see my charts a bit more. So we're trading down to point of control from overnight right now. All right, so this is the level it needs to hold really to have a go at going back to those all-time highs. If we start to base out here and move sideways, we are going to build that head and shoulder, and the chance of a rotation lower become more and more. So you really need to see it hold this. Still very, very early in the session here as a reminder. Watching to see if it drives up and through VWAP and can get going for a reprice, or if we're just going to base out down here. What are we going to do? Do we need to go back to that gap fill? Like, what does this market need and want to do this morning? So far, very bearish momentum. What's the VIX doing? It's the one thing I didn't look at. VIX with a gap up coming into previous day close, right? 1560s. So are we going to start squeezing here for this sort of flag and drive up through VWAP and then back towards high of day? Watching this counter trend just in case it's going to get ready to get going. Be careful as we approach VWAP here. It would need to show me some real strength. We're very early in the day and we've got news still to come, but this was the sort of dip we were looking for. How it acts now becoming key. So rejection of VWAP there so far. Can still just build out a bear flag. It's like I said, it's very tricky because they did the really nice move to previous day high already overnight. They've taken a nice move away from us. An ES with relative weakness here. They're just stuck between VWAP and PDC. Remember, if we bear flag this, all right, we're going to rotate and it's going to look to take out this level here and then into this. And if we stay weak all the way down to here, this is what it's looking like it wants to do. But remember, the efficient move was to up here and the efficient move from here was to here. The two easy low-hanging fruit trades, unfortunately, have gone. So we just have to wait. If we can retest some of these levels here, we can maybe think about buyers, or if we can trap here, maybe sweep Asia, London and go, that will also be fine. You've also got news coming very shortly, so I'm not in a hurry to take a trade. Exactly, Peter. I'm never in a rush to trade, and especially not in a Friday. So momentum remains downside. Look at the weakness in ES, right? ES getting destroyed here. Absolutely destroyed. So we're going down towards the London low right now. If we snap London low and stay heavy, then you got to think we're going to trade to old point of control, 22.55. And if we let go of that, then we're going to go for the unfinished business at previous day lows. Remember, there's lots of lows down there, especially on the ES. So this is key here. Like, this was the level, the afternoon pullback level on the ES. If it's not going to hold these, a big old wash is possible. Remember, we've got news in, what, 6-7 minutes or so. Just wait to see what happens here. If you took that bear flag, well done, team. That was actually very nice. Maybe a bit slow for me here. That was actually a very nice bear flag. And you should be looking for a partial underneath London. All right, so if you can get a partial into 104-ish, check that level. Yeah, into 104-ish. And if you sweep it and stay heavy, you're looking for a rotation back into previous day point of control. Just remember, we are in... Oh, sorry about that. We are in key levels yesterday. This is sort of afternoon pullback level. Right, so you've got this here. We could do a small demand block there if you wanted, just so you have it visually. Right, remember, this is where the sort of stops were yesterday. If it starts flipping this, we go leg down. ATR a bit higher again this morning. Watching ES here as well. Much weaker this morning. Looks heavy. Mag not exactly big red, right? Tesla 1% down, Nvidia caught or a third of a percent up. Meta 0.8% up, Google pretty much flat, Amazon a third of a percent down, Microsoft flat, Amazon pretty much, Apple pretty much flat. So have they bottomed out now? VIX is continuing to spike higher right now. Does it find a bit of resistance up here? Where are we trading into? Yes, this is the highs that we put in pre-market, 1578, or yesterday, sorry. I kind of want to get through news. I'm going to be honest. What I'd like to do is just get through the news and then go from there. There will be some opportunities today. Hopefully it just doesn't do it all in Asia and London and all before the open. Most of the damage here has been done before the open. So if you're in this, remember, try and lock some into that London. You would expect London to be taken out. But I've definitely already done the big move on ES. So I'd just be a little cautious here. We should get that move. There's London. There you go. So there's a snap of London. Still drifting lower. Probably into previous day point of control now if it stays heavy. Right down here. If we get through that, previous day low. Remember, yesterday we had an attempt to take out those lows so many times. And it didn't manage to do it. So many times on ES. So there's the London sweep. I have to be careful here. What are they going to do? Not got too long until the news now either. Watching in case that was all they want to do here. If they fail this level, then really we're likely to go all the way back down to previous day point of control. Watching if there's anyone on the tape. Some sellers at 125. I mean, tape's very, very, very thin. Like there is no one on it really right now. It's tricky. It's done such a violent move that I don't want to try and short the lows and I don't want to buy against the momentum. And I'm just going to have to wait, unfortunately. It's what we were talking about. Probably while we were going through everything in chat, we probably should have been looking for a short up here before the open. It's just a timing thing, unfortunately. So if they're going to protect that after sweeping London, there is a potential trade back upside towards PDC here, counter trend. If it rejects PDC, then you've got to think we go lower. Yeah, it's OPEX. Yeah, definitely. Gone for everyone's options for the expiries. On what higher time frame, Mr. Slim? On the daily, we definitely do not have bearish structure. I would argue on the hourly, we not really right now. We've swept, but no confirmation. And the hourly will need to shift to very, very bearish. All we're doing on an hourly is in range. For me, would remain in range. For me, there's not a confirmation yet. We have to wait and see. I think it's more like there's a bit of unfinished business towards those lows yesterday. But we're holding now after sweeping Globex. And remember, you got news coming here in 10 seconds. PMI coming in 10 seconds. Yeah, the short of PDA previous day high made sense. Failed breakout previous day high, that made sense. Book's completely cleared out here, team. Haven't seen anything hit the wire yet, but the book has cleared out. So holding that afternoon pullback on the ES, just about holding it here in the Qs. Structure on the lower time frame in this New York session is still bearish. Or do you know what we haven't done? I always forget to do this. Where is our 30 line? This guy right here. Right, so we're, like we said, rechecking previous day close here, which was a likely move. How it acts here is going to be key. Right, if it rejects this, stays heavy under this, we go here and here. If we reclaim previous day close, this can be a move higher after a gap fill. There is potential for it. Watch your ATR. Watch your ATR, please, please, please. We can go all the way back to highs if they start to reclaim VWAP and stuff like that. Yeah, news did nothing so far. Has it actually hit though? I haven't actually seen it hit the wire. So here's the reclaim at previous day point of control. Just in this for a little bit of a squeeze move here. Counter trend, already taking some out into flow zones. Remember, it's very, very counter trend. I was just in early in case we build this and go. This is what it needs to get through to go. Otherwise, we think about these moves. VIX did a big pullback to fill the gap and then found a bid instantly, interestingly. It did hit the wire. Okay, so nothing burger. So then the next piece is at 10 o'clock, top of the hour. We've swept everything on this hourly as well. Right, we've swept everything on the hourly. That London low. Keeps pushing up here into flow zones. Question is, does it get stuck or does it initiate a squeeze up now? No real structure here to play off other than that previous day close. That was excess underneath it and gap fill and hold afternoon pullback, and we can push a squeeze. We will have to pivot through VWAP and through 2275 and really get through the New York Open. All right, this will trigger a bullish day back up. If it can't do that, then probably more chop and potentially lower prices. It looks like it's trying to build for that squeeze here. It's just a bit tight. ES very weak by comparison. The biggest problem right now. That's just overnight. That's a normal VWAP. It's not anchored from anything. It's just normal. So failing here, ES new low of day. Like I said, ES very, very weak. Yeah, exactly. Fresh lows here. It feels like ES wants to go back for previous day lows because it had so many attempts, 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts down there to make a fresh low yesterday and couldn't do it. I think we talked about it in Discord. It's just will we join that move though on the Qs? Maybe get back towards old point of control. It's a big level down here where we're at right now. Bear flag again. Keep seeing news about cognac. France, like talking about cognac with China. It's like, seriously, must be a Friday if that's hitting the wire. Okay, so there's the breaker structure. So if shorts get trapped here, it's a problem. Otherwise, we're expecting lower prices down here. But that sweep of the low and trade inside without expanding too much is a little bit iffy. Still not much on the tape. There's not much on the tape here. Still seeking lower from structure. Here's coming to try and back test where it just broke down from. VIX did sweep the highs and trading back inside as well. It's just a little bit of a mess down here. Just going to have to let it build out. Probably after 10 o'clock we get the move, I would say. It's what it feels like. After 10 o'clock we get a better move. So really expect this to at least test the old point of control right now. Should get back down into 50. I don't want to get short in the hole though. I've missed the short when we were talking. The previous day high fell breakout and the rotation. I've already missed that, so I just don't want to short the hole. So saying PMI's increased uncertainty on the market. No big size. The biggest size on the tape I can see is at 825. It's the 20-day moving average of interest. If we ever got down there. This is a big level here, though, whether we hold this or not, especially on the ETFs. Previous day low doesn't feel that far away right now, especially on ES. Big level here, 22,100. This is just a big level that they're trading around. Still no trades yet. Well, I had one attempt. Took a flat. It actually got me out in a bit of money, so I got a bit lucky there. What's your ATR? ATR today's definitely picked up a little bit as well. They do a new little micro bear flag to get that move to previous day low, or does shorts get trapped here and we get that squeeze up? You know, stay bearish until it proves otherwise right now. I sort of want to wait for a new hourly bar now, especially with news. We're only 5 minutes away. If we expand before the new hourly bar, then we're going to check PDC, but previous day POC. They wait for the new hourly bar. It would be nice because then we can think about where shorts get trapped or buyers get trapped versus the old hourly low and close. So that's why I'm just going to wait for a transition. If they turn the boosters on and the algo's on at 10 o'clock on the news, it might get violent very, very quickly. Yeah, exactly. There's another micro bear flag setting up here. Exactly that. Like we say, you stay bearish until proves otherwise. It wants to check this. ES really wants to check down here by the looks of it. And look at the size of the last hour bar. So if you're shorting now into a new hourly transition, and if you don't get expansion instantly in the next hourly bar, it's a little bit problematic. But the draw definitely seems like down here right now. It does seem like it wants to get down here, especially on ES. ES is just dripping lower. We are starting to build like this grindy kind of channel. You want to be careful if this starts to taper. Just sitting and waiting here. Not in a rush to execute this short in demand into the new hour. Just going to wait. If it wants to expand, that's fine. We can see what's what afterwards. Range on the day will be good either way. Five-minute chart today, just straight down. Every candle, red candle so far this morning. First half an hour of the day. It's been pretty efficient other than that opening candle. It's not left many imbalances on a 5-minute. Yeah, it's not about the hourly. Yeah, it's not necessarily about those hourly traders. It's that where we can trap versus the next hourly low as well. All right, so what often you'll see is the next hour might take this, trade all the way back inside, so all the shorts you enter here get stopped, and then we can get a fade later on a transition, unless the new hourly opens versus this and just wants to go straight down. It's not necessarily about the hourly traders stops. It's about the transition of where people get stuck, shorting low, and it has to turn back inside before coming down on the new hour. Doesn't have to do that, obviously. Like, market will do whatever it wants. It's just a possibility which happens to play out a fair amount. Remember, we're trying to get a draw into previous day point of control, and then this green line down here, previous day low. ES definite weakness here. Market's starting to go red. Apple's still flat. Nvidia flat. Meta green. Google flat. But Microsoft, Amazon, and Tesla all red in this session. All trading well inside of Friday's range here, and inside of Thursday's range, sorry. So we're not in a breakout territory. We're in inside bar territory still. So failed breakout of the high on the daily gives us that move back inside the range, which is where we are now. We missed the failed breakout, happened pre-market. So the drive up in London, Asia, very, very nice. The failed breakout before the open, also very nice. If you took that short around, I'd say 9 o'clock, even just before the open for the breakdown, very good. Very good. Here's your new hour. So 10 seconds. New hourly bar and news. Remember, we have news as well. My charts have just stopped unless that's actually traded through. So previous day point of control hit there and tagged that yellow line. ES missed its previous day low again, just. You'd expect it to come for previous day low, really, but it came back into that demand pool that it's been in all of yesterday. We have like 4 major wicks down there now. Yes, exactly, Comrade. Yeah, that's exactly it. So this is what I was talking about. Look at this hourly transition now. We sweep the last hourly and we trade inside. So shorts who traded versus this are now stuck, right? Even if we go lower, they'll stop out before we go lower. That's why I don't like entering that short near the low on an hourly transition. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, you're right. It's basically trading the lower time frame traders entering late on an hourly bar. But we did tag previous day point of control. ES missed previous day low by 2 or 3 points there. You would expect it to try and gun for it if it can get there. You would expect it to gun for it. I still sort of short bias until we've taken that low out. So seeing if there's a way we can join this for a wash down. Obviously, we've got a long way to go on the Qs if we're going to do it. Joining momentum a little bit here. Can we just get through previous day point of control? Big volume area here. Big volume area here. I want to join some momentum if we can build something out to get down at least to here and then to here. ES still hasn't got down here. It got very close. Relative weakness. ES is hanging out down here right now. It just missed it. If we can get a drive up to go lower, that would be great. If ES takes previous day low, all right, and we don't, then I'm going to consider it divergence and then think we're going to drift higher. Yeah, not giving us anything yet. Not giving us anything yet. Let's have a look at the volume in this session. Right here at 103. If we get through that, we can trade 145s. No real structure to play off still. It's, tricky. Should still move lower, like as in the draw should be lower. We're that close. Watching ES to see if it's going to go back for previous day low. It should go and take it, really. It should go and take it out. Problem is, if you're looking for a short now, you're right near lows of day. Here we go. So tagging into towards the POC and failing there into the 10s. Here we go. So we're going to get a fade off flow zones here. These are very hard to trade because the liquidity is not being made as is in an up move. But we need liquidity really to be made like this to get down here. Building liquidity like this opens up for a squeeze up. I want to just see it build out a bit. Right near that H1 level here is very key. I'm going to be right back, Tim. Just going to use the bathroom. Won't be a minute. All right, there we go. Didn't miss a thing. Nothing's happened. Yeah, still not giving an entry, really. It's tapping into those flow zones. It wants to move lower. It wants to move back towards previous day low, but doesn't need to move higher first. That's kind of the question that we're posing right now. We did take or tap into previous day point of control. It's where all the volume was built yesterday. It's why I put it on here. So far, not getting a close beneath it. The 5-minute remains very, very bearish. We're just dripping down, dripping down, dripping down. Really, to get any setup in this session, we're going to need to build liquidity, a pop higher, and show us that a seller's there, build a kind of bear flag to get a move low. If we don't do that, it's going to be very, very hard to join this move in towards previous day low. There is a very good chance we get diverse. Is there? Yeah, there is a good chance we do get it, where we might not take PDL on the NQs and we might take it on the ES here, just based on how close the ES is to taking it. So if we get a huge short covering rally after taking PDL on the ES, it's possible that NQ doesn't even make it there. It is possible. From a structural point of view, the ES is very, very different at those lows. All right, it's got like a lot of low-hanging fruit lows down there. We don't really have the same here. I'll go back to yesterday. Where's previous day low? We don't really have the same here. All right, ES has wick, wick, wick. Very, very, very close. It's getting very close now, the ES. If you're still in that short from previous day high, you look really good. You look really good. ES finding a bid down there again. It should just wash it. Honestly, it should just come and take those lows out, and then we can think about what's next. There's a lot of messing around here. It should just get a move on. This might be the move for it. It might be gunning for it. Watching point of control here. Is ES going to get going with it? Yes, only a couple points away now. 2 points is all ES needs to do. All right, we need to do about 100 points on the Qs if we're going to do it. Yes, very, very close. All right, so just be aware, we might get divergence here if the market starts to get a short covering rally after ES takes the lows. You might get some divergence where the Qs don't quite make it to the lows. They might turn around and go upside. Not guaranteed, but I'm just saying it is a possibility just based on where we are. We are at volume right now. ES is not. VIX is driving higher. VIX trying to have a push towards 16s now. We're still holding point of control. All right, on the NQ, remember, previous day point of control. This is where we created all the volume yesterday. ES is right down here right now. I find it hard to believe that ES won't take those lows, but hey. Looking at the tape, see if we get any thicker orders start to come in, which we are. There's some selling into 15s and 20s, and then above that 45, 50, and 65. Well, is there bids down below? We have bids at 2,000 flat, and then 950s. So it should, doesn't have to, it should still move lower after it's trapped enough. Might need to trap some more buyers in here before it does it. What you don't want to do is get caught short in the lows. You must not get caught short in the lows. ES with a bounce here. Again, missed its previous day low. It's missed it by 2 points. That's a decent bounce off it. 6-point drive higher already. So do bears come back in here and attack it? Or are they going to leave those lows for later in the day, or maybe leave them altogether? We don't know. Kind of nuts. Coming into some key levels here. So it's got to stay heavy versus 1950, somewhere around there on the Qs. I'm talking on the ES. I'm talking about. God, you can tell it's Friday, can't you? Just see some news hitting the wire there. What was that? Okay, so just Waltz talking to Ukraine here. Lots of selling here stacked up. All the way from 200 to 225, then a bit of room, and then you've got from like 240 up to 250 and 260. So do they let this through to then take it back lower, or do they just let it through now? Are they like, you've had your go? Remember, we're trading back inside the last H1 bar now. We can trade all the way up to 45s. Let me put volume on the lower time frame here, just to have a quick look. Main volume in this session is around 105, which is where we're about to trade into. So if we get through that, then you've got to think they might want to trade all the way back up to 45s or so. So squeeze feels like it's on so far, unless they come in right here, right now, and shut that door down, trap bulls, and then take it back low with those bull stops. So watching the ES very, very closely. Structure remains bearish. Okay, structure remains bearish in this session. You do expect it to take previous day low. That is an expectation. It doesn't have to do it just because we expect it. "20 minutes left until we get to initial balance, or just under actually. If ES doesn't trade beneath 10s now, I'd say shorts are going to get stuck down there. That last candle up was a pretty decent engulfing candle. If it cannot trade beneath 10s, it's going to be a problem for those shorts. Still expect it to get to lows, but I'm just saying if it cannot trade beneath it, it's going to be a problem for shorts. I can probably get rid of that. Probably get rid of this as well. I know it's the afternoon pullback, but we've traded through it now. Got to think the market wants to go for these. I'm watching here in case there's a way of joining this in weakness. Okay, joining this now. Need to see it just start flushing aggressively. Here we go. I want to see ES trade through those 10s that we talked about. My stop's already in the money because I know I'm shorting near low of day, but I'm looking to join momentum if ES is going to let go. Going to be very cautious if ES does not trade through 10. Like I said, this is going to be a problem. If it can't trade through 10, I will just stop out. Just like a tick or two in the money. Here we go. Looking for that drift lower. We need to see ES take out low of day. In this short, looking for a wash underneath for a new break of structure, ideally. And if NQ wants to come all the way down to previous day low, that would be fantastic. But I don't necessarily expect it to do it. I am half aware that ES might take it out and NQ might not. But we're positioned for this to go lower in case it wants to. This is the big level here on ES that we talked about. So far, unwilling to let go of that level. Keep looking up here because I'm watching the ES because it's filled that little imbalance on that engulfing candle. If it bases here, it is going to be a problem for shorts. Watching the VIX as well. Looking good here. Might even add if I can. You going to let me add? Nope. Need a breakdown to add. Shorts get caught here. Be very, very careful. Like I said, you need a closure beneath 10 on the ES, beneath 610. It's holding very, very well so far. This is where shorts will get stuck. So I'm very, very risk off here. It has to like work and work quickly. We should take the low. We're not taking the low. All right, so you need to see a rejection of sort of 1250 here on the ES. Failure to do that, we're going to start building that W pattern, and it is going to be a problem for shorts if we do that. We need to see closure underneath 10, for a drift down into previous day low. At the moment, it's just basing out there. And it's absorbed again. So it's going to leave previous day low alone right now, for now. Problematic. Problematic, that. Can we still reject that level? Bit of a dance here is the best way of me speaking about it. It's a bit of a dance. Getting 15 minutes away from the IBL set as well. That's not ideal. We'd just like one more breakdown here, sweep the lows before we set the IBL. That would be really nice, because then we can think about failed auction and auctions after, with liquidity already taken. It's going to make it a bit easier. God, the amount that's been traded around 610 is around 22,110 is insane. Looking at the book. Okay, so it's going to have one more attempt. It's looking ugly here because it's had quite a few attempts. This is where I get really concerned. When we've had one attempt, two attempt, three attempt to go lower, and it doesn't do it. Remember, we've got tapering here. If we start to get above this, it's going to be problematic for shorts. We're looking to run these guys out to get some partials in here and then hold some for low of day if it's going to do it. So far, we are rejecting this. We need to come down and take this out. That's what we need. If we can't do that and we pivot above this, then bulls will take control. Shorts will get trapped at the lows. Don't like this look on ES right now. Needs to just slam it and come and clear out. Zelensky and Waltz are talking about Ukraine right now, just to give you a heads up. It's having one more attempt here to try and break down. So tight here. The draw is lower and it won't do it. The draw is definitely lower. Right now, it doesn't want to do it. Come on, market. Zelensky and the defense secretary. It's Waltz, right? Yeah. National Security Advisor Waltz. ES looking a bit better here. They need just a volume to come in and just come and wash aggressively. I always have songs in my head when we start doing this stuff. My finger is on the button. That's all I hear all the time. Okay, here we go. Are you going to do it or what? Are you going to do it or what? Here we go. Come on, get 3-point control. Stop faffing around. Stop faffing around. Apparently, we're not going to do it. You just had the chance to do it and you're not going to do it. Here we go. POC. Big area here. This is a big area. If we let go of POC, we can trade down. There's room to come down here. All the time we're just basing out here. If we're not going to take down POC, if we're not going to stay heavy under it, you've got to be careful of a potential squeeze. Looking better here, though. Come on. Come on, ES. Come on. Just help us out. Come and take previous day low. Stop faffing about. Because once they've taken previous day low, then and we base, then we can think about the mean reversion trade upside if it wants. If it's going to leave it, it's going to make it really hard to think about any long rotation as well. Because we're going to know external liquidity is just hanging out there, waiting to be taken. Here we go. Here we go. So we're starting to sweep, now looking to see if we can get all the way down to previous day low. Jeez, they made that so hard. Come on, ES. Come on, ES. I have taken a partial here, guys. I had to. Had to. I don't mind adding if we're going to stay weak, but I don't want to add at low day. Yeah. Come on. Look how close ES is. I'm leaving this alone for a second because if ES just like tags it and turns, it's going to be gross. Yeah, ES very close. There's 140 lot down here at 25, and then there are 25 lots stacked at 20, 15, 10, and 05. So they are looking to get filled down here on a wash. Underneath that, we've got the 22k flat. There's 143 lot there. Or 182 lot, sorry. And then 825. Yeah, I'm not putting new position on here. Holding old position, not putting new position on. How we act at this previous day point of control. This is really a zone down here. Let's just call it a zone. If we start staying heavy under here, we open this door. If we reclaim this, especially if ES washes and reclaims, then short squeeze is on. ES still hasn't taken it yet. Look at the VIX. Looks kind of gross. Just going to check the ETFs just to make sure there's no divergence here. No, we still haven't taken the previous day low on the SPY either. So I still think we should drift lower and take that previous day low out. Tagging it now. Okay, PDL taken on the ES, not taken yet on the SPY. It has not been taken yet on the SPY. So there is slight divergence on those levels. But it has been taken on the ES. So easy trade now taken on the ES. NQ got a long way to go, as is the QQQ. SPY has like another 15 cents or so to go. 607.20 is previous day low on the SPY. Here we go. Starting to sell now. So how we act now is important. It is important because we've taken low-hanging fruit on one of the indexes. We have not taken low-hanging fruit on the NQ. So if we get divergence, like we're starting to see now, ES is trying to turn up inside. It just retested the low here. SPY has not tagged the low yet, just as a reminder. Yeah, 15 minutes just been in a sell. 15 and 5 minute look very, very strong to the downside. But we're at low hanging fruit levels here. Nice team. Yeah, lots of you got that. Good work. It was just had to be very patient for it. The ES already trying to reclaim. I have to see how this bar operates now. We've got 4.5 minutes until the initial balance is set as well. Check that daily level. 70. Lots of orders here on the book down to 22k. Lots and lots of people on the book down to 22k. ES is just about reclaimed, now trading under, closed the bar under. So more weakness in this market at the moment. SPY tagging previous day low there. Very, very, very close. So the ETF's now tagging it, almost taking it. That's where this bounce is coming from. It's coming from the ETFs. QQQ is into afternoon pullback territory. Any more heaviness, and we're looking at previous day low on the NQ, but remember we have divergence in the market slightly. The SPY finding a bid off previous day low. So the ETF's finding a bid off the previous day low. I think it hit it pretty much exact there. NQ tagged. Did it tag value area low there? Came very, very close. It did. If NQ stays heavy, we're going to go for previous day low on NQ. It's that simple if it stays heavy. If it doesn't stay heavy, if it turns back inside, there is a short squeeze opportunity here. Here's SPY again, tagging into previous day low. Now taken. Actually took it this time rather than tapping into it. So now it's just a question of, is there continuation or is there a short covering rally that starts to appear here? We still can move down towards 50s here on the NQ. If you're still holding here, you still have that chance to move lower. If it wants to go to previous day low, we can still move lower. At 22,000, remember there's a 200 lot here. Just getting filled now. And re-added here into, he's re-added, I'm talking about, into 990. So 200 lot into 990 now. So he's trying to just drag it down. He's trying to get filled down there. I don't know if he's getting filled as a buyer or as a coverer. Well, definitely as a buyer, but as a short covering or as a fresh money buyer down here. ES now tagging its 20-day. All right, mean reversion complete. You've got to think NQ is going to probably come down to the previous day low now. We're that close to it. There's less reason for it to do it in many ways, just based on structure, because we did leave more of an excess low there on the NQ versus the ES. But if it wants to come for it, it can. What a fucking fade. Pardon my French. I should have taken that failed breakout while we were doing the analysis pre-market. But if you got that, you should have made some good money. Make sure you're paying yourself a little bit, just in case we get divergence. We are coming into potential buying opportunity areas down here. All right, if it's going to hold. Remember, from a daily standpoint, it can do that. If we're going to let go of a daily standpoint, then we can drift lower into 21,900, 21,863. 20-day would take us back to 800 flat. We're really that would need us to go into a major sell today to be thinking about that, but it's possible. Just make sure you're looking at the hourly and looking at the 5-minute and 15-minute. It's a straight bleed. That doesn't mean you buy it, but like every short we take down here becomes higher and higher risk. Yeah, Mr. Slim, I assumed you would have been holding runners for, like, if you're taking previous day high fail breakout, which was a good trade, made sense. I assumed you covered some into VWAP, covered some into previous day close, and then held for some for this position. But maybe you just covered all into previous day close, which is still a good move. It's still a great move. Understandable. That is understandable, my friend. In all honesty, I often do the same thing. If I'm not, it's because I've got, if I'm trading micros, it's easier to hold a few through news. You can give it a bit of a wider stop if you're playing with house money at that point. So 20-day moving average here on the ES. We now have the initial balance set. All right, here's your IB. So a failed auction could look like something like this. A sustained auction would need to look like this. All right, so be aware. A failed auction could easily come and take this and turn inside. That would be a draw for us on the NQ. But if you are going to short down here, you are shorting the IBL. A ton of liquidity stacking up beneath us now. Really starting to see some size beneath us. They want to absorb. To the upside, we've got a big seller up at 22,050 and then again at 75. Those are 100 lots. So 50 and 75. 50 is basically previous day point of control. And 75, what is 75 be? He's kind of in no man's land, to be honest. Just a whole number. So remember, think about the initial balance. If we're going to rotate off here, where can we go to? You can think about, let's do an anchor just in case. Where was the open print? This bar. That is dark green. It's selling. We're in a selling continuation pattern. Not looking to pick the bottoms right now. No reason to be picking bottoms right now. Yeah, no worries, Peter. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I locked in some good money on that trade. I kind of feel the same, but I think there's more opportunities potentially setting up. So I'm going to sit here for a bit longer. But you go and have yourself a great weekend. Great trading all week. I think you were green every day this week. I think we've been green every day this year on stream so far. So coming back down to the IBL here. Structure remains bearish, but you have to understand that we are inside the initial balance now. Trump finishes his interview for Fox News Radio. So was he talking? I didn't even know that. Did not see that. It's the first thing I've seen come up. Trump saying it's not important for Zelensky to be at peace meetings. I would accept a call from Zelensky. Russia should have been talked out of it. There should never have been a war. I mean, he's just saying the same rhetoric. Trump on whether Russia should be happy with White House rhetoric towards Ukraine. No, I think they really want to make a deal. And now he's finished his interview. So I'm just regurgitating what I'm reading, folks, right? I don't have an opinion on this stuff. I'm just telling you what I'm reading. I just trade the market. All right? Try not to get involved in what I think about it. I try and think about how the market will rotate from that. So we're looking like we're going to go for that previous day low here. So really you have failed auction theory and auction theory right now. It looks like NQ wants to go for previous day low here. That's what it looks like. Still holding a tiny bit left. Can we just expand lower? So new bear flag here, starting to break down. I would be very cautious once we take this, right? Once we take this, the opportunity for the failed auction trade inside increases. If we take this and trade inside, I would be risk off, okay? If we take this, I'm going to repeat, if we take this and trade back inside the initial balance, I would be risk off. Market looks very weak here. If you're trading QQQ, you're looking for a trade down to 532.50, basically. If you're trading the QQQ ETF to help you out there. No reason to be thinking long here, folks. Still no reason to be thinking long. We're in short continuation until proves otherwise. I have to say this every day. Come on, folks, help me out. At least half of you here have not smashed that like button. Smash that like button, please. Do me a favor. Hit me with W's in chat. If you made money on this short today, hit me with W's in chat. Let me know that you've caught this with me. All right. Really, we'd like to see this taken. And if we can get a failed auction, then we're going to look for a rotation after it's taken and trade inside back to these VWAPs. If we're going to get divergence, then we're going to leave this alone, and it means ES has taken it, and then we're going to do that move. Ideally, we take it out first. It's just going to make the rest of the day easier when we take external liquidity. Let's have a look. Andrew H. These are all winners on stream. I'm going to tell you now, most of these are going to be the same people who win every single day with me. Andrew H. See every day. Mr. Slim, who absolutely killed it. He took the previous day high failed breakout that we talked about pre-market. Fantastic work, Mr. Slim. Making us all look stupid here. Stephen W. with the win. Ironclad Trader with the win. Christy, Tyson, Priska, Mike, Arturo Silva Jr. Who else have we got? Dinu, Indicator, Camille, Thumper, Array, Andrew, WWW with a cheers there. He must have had a very good day. DJ Noah, Crawford, M King, Vince S, Coop, Leron, Earl, Jeff Stewart, second W on the short, Jesse M, Sloth, Marek. Thanks. Outstanding analysis. Thank you, Marek, for the nice little tip there. Like I said, I love a tip on a Friday. You can go and buy a nice coffee and bagel with that when I'm done here, probably. Thank you, Marek. You're very, very generous. Thank you very much. So we stuck with the shorts, didn't we? It wasn't easy, folks. I know this, looking back, you're like, oh, that was easy. It wasn't easy. The reason it wasn't easy is we had 9:45 news right here and 10 o'clock news. So it's very hard to be risk on when we're doing this. And the easy trade, well, the easier trade was that, the fail breakout and the wash down, which some of you got, which is very nice. After that, we had to be patient. We had to be patient. So we're still trading inside of initial balance. I'm not looking to execute a new short here, even though there's possibility we come to this. I'm not looking to execute a new short here. Why am I not? Because we're inside the initial balance. So I'm going to wait. Either we get a auction lower. It's going to be hard to take that auction lower today with it just wanting this. There's not much else on the table unless we get a full sell day. Or I'm going to wait for it to take this, trade inside, base out here, have flow zone support it, and look for a rotation to where? VWAP, VWAP, maybe previous day point of control I will pay attention to today as well. If we stay heavy versus this, you can see it's been a key level the last few days, all right? So all we're doing now is returning back in. Remember, this was a buying opportunity yesterday. This is fine. If we close down here, then we still have a good buying opportunity next week. Remember, we would have rather, selfishly, you would have heard me on stream when we were here yesterday, selfishly I was saying, I hope we stay down here because then we get a buy opportunity to here and a buy opportunity up. It's actually worked out that they've sold this all the way back down. This is the retest you think about after a strong move down. We build back up and we retest that low. Then we're thinking about, do we get that buy opportunity all the way back up to highs? Because what you don't want to be is shorting looking for this move, because if it doesn't move, this becomes far more probable. I'm not necessarily talking about today. I'm more looking at Monday, Tuesday next week. Right, we can get a big drive. Why do I think that? Think about the daily. We keep talking about this daily. Think about the daily. All we're doing on a daily right now is building liquidity to be a potential flag above an RBS level, holding an imbalance to get back up here. All right, if shorts get trapped here, we get back up here. Same as yesterday. It's fine, even if it dips a bit lower. As long as we stay down here for next week, we get a really nice trade. It will make next week easier for us, for sure. All right, enough nattering from me. Let's have a look. SPY just drove all the way up to previous day low there. We had a little divergence in the market of where the previous day lows are right now. All right, so SPY drove back up to previous day low. Found a rejection there so far. I'm looking at a 5-minute. Right, it's trying to find a bit of a bounce here. QQQ and NQ still haven't taken out previous day low. Just remember that. All right, the QQQ and the NQ have not taken out previous day low yet. We are still just building this liquidity. But look how we're trying to come and raid these stops here now. All right, so if we raid this and put some volume in and hold, this becomes probable. If we just raid this, or reject this and get stuck here, this becomes probable. What I don't want to do is force a short here. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Remember, we were short somewhere up here. Here, I think it was. These. We were short in these. This was a good move. The RR here is good. Even though this is possibility, unless you're holding a runner or adding to a winner, which is fine, I wouldn't necessarily initiate a new short here unless it becomes very clear and obvious that we want to stay heavy versus the IBL. So I'm having to move all my screens around and re-put everything in. Coop, I know you're on stream. I did what you said yesterday. It didn't delete anything, so I don't know if I did something wrong. But it seems okay today. Touch wood. Touch wood. Ninja Trader seems a bit better today. All right, let's have a look at the book. Think about the book. 975. That's where the liquidity is. 975. Protecting this low. All right, 100 lot there. We get through that. 950, 825. Those are the biggest orders. We're just basing out here at the IBL right now. Trying to look at like these 15-minute bars and 5-minute bars, seeing where the void is in volume that we might want to fill. It's, I mean, maybe up to point of control 45s. I really don't want to initiate a short inside the initial balance today. Yeah, great trading. Great trading today, guys. Great trading, Jack. We had to be patient. It's just, that's how the market is, right? Once you miss that first play, that fade of failed breakout of previous day high, I had to be a little patient, but we got it. We got it. I think I had one attempt for a little squeeze back through PDC and took a break-even stop. Nice array. Good work. Good work, team. So ES still inside of its initial balance. Its IB low on the ES is the 20-day moving average. Why does that matter? That's the mean of the trend. All right, it's the mean of the trend. Remember, if we think about the daily chart on here, give you an idea where the ES is, this purple line. All right, top bowl, bottom bowl, 2 sigma, 2 sigma, right, +2, -2, mean. ES is right here. It is at the mean reversion right now. It's at the mean point of the possible trend. So it's a big level on the ES. SPY is a bit further to go. It can drift down into 605.25 if it wants to get to the mean. Look at that trend. This is why you don't short this. This is a 5-minute. Don't short it. It's why you don't long this. That's a sorry. Can't even get my words out on a Friday. Previous day low is definitely a low-hanging fruit here if the NQ is going to actually gun for it. If it cannot get it, if we get divergence and it doesn't take it and we trade back inside, I'd be thinking about a failed auction. My head's already thinking about failed auction because I know we're coming into a big demand spot. So for me right now, I'm going to wait. I'll wait to see if we take previous day low, and then if we trade back up to the initial balance low, if we reject the IBL, then I'm going to think about potential trade lower. If we reclaim that initial balance low, then I'm going to think about the failed auction for a trade back inside to VWAP, that kind of trade. So far, it looks like it's going to go for that PDL. It really wants to take that previous day low here. 50s is your levels if it's going to take it. If it really starts letting go, oof is all I'd say. 50s is your level here, though. Very close here. Make sure you're locking some in, tapping into it right now. You're tapping into previous day low right now. Make sure you are locking some in. If you took this, there you go. So previous day low now taken. Clearing all the liquidity on the book. So the next level down, if it's going to stay in a trend down, is to 825 based on the book. All right, but we've taken the low-hanging fruit here. Interesting, we haven't taken it on the QQQ. QQQ has to go a tiny bit lower. We need to trade into 32.46 on the QQQ. We're very close. But the again, a little divergence between the ETFs and the futures here. But the QQQ, very close, almost at it. Very close to taking it here on the QQQ. Remember, that's where the cash players are trading. They're trading the ETF levels, where the cash and the options are trading. Very, very close. Oh, did we tag it there? We think we tagged it. Yeah, we just tagged it. Did we miss it by a cent? There you go. There's the rally off. That's right off previous day low on the ETF. So if you look at the QQQ, we tagged into 47. Previous day low was 46, and we found a little bit of a bid off that so far. That's why I watch the ETFs as well as the futures. Sometimes you get divergence of where those highs and lows are. And cash, as we always talk about, cash gaps, cash matters in the market. So now we have theories, all right? We have auction theories and we have failed auction theories. If we trade through this and start holding failed auction, this will be excess low after sweeping a key level, coming into a big level on the daily for a trade back up to VWAP. Right, so that's your play setting up. We either reject this here for a trend down day, yeah, or we reclaim this here, maybe get through these, start to build, and we're going to go back to VWAP, maybe PDC if we can really get going. Trump's still talking, by the way. I don't understand why he's still talking when it said he was finished. Let's have a look. I will see how the House does on the budget proposal. I mean, he's finished talking on the radio, so I don't know if he's doing something else. So big level coming up here. All right, big level across the indexes. Here is the IBL. If we start reclaiming the IBL, a potential squeeze up, that counter trend trade back up to the VWAPs can happen. Idris, today's most certainly resonating with my inner bear. Yeah, I know what you mean. I have to keep that bear in check most of the time. He's been there ever since small caps. Jack, yeah, he never stops talking. You're not wrong. The guy's on so many amphetamines, honestly. That's why he never stops talking. He's been on them since his youth. On like ADHD stuff and things like that to stay awake. I mean, it's not uncommon in America. Has anyone watched the film Apprentice? The film about him. It's really good. It was really good. Even Rogan was talking about it. He was like, he came to see me, he flew in on a helicopter or plane, didn't go to the toilet, sat down, did an interview for like 3.5 hours, still didn't go to the toilet, drank loads of water, was wide awake, basically hadn't been to sleep for 20 hours, and then left and went on to the next place. I mean, it's got to be some other things, Ritalin and stuff like that, which most of America is on, including sporting athletes. There's lots of docs on that. Lots of sporting athletes, people like Michael Phelps, especially the swimmers, get their doctors to say that they have ADHD so they can get on things like Ritalin because it allows them to train for longer hours where you'd be bored out your brain normally. They can sit there and train because they're full of amphetamine. Yeah, exact polar opposite to Biden, yeah. One's wide awake, one can't wake up. Sebastian Stan's a great actor, yeah, really good. I mean, what a film. I thought that film was excellent. Really good. Okay, so here is the tap back into that purple line. That is your IBL. All right, well, if we get a structural change here, right, if we can start to move above some of these, then we can think about it. Just have a think about what this would look like on a 5-minute. There's not many inefficiencies here on a 5-minute. There really isn't. You've got a bit of a block here, 15 down to 86. I guess it's kind of got to trade through that. Maybe we've got a 15-minute that we can think about flipping. Feels like it wants to start getting going here, doesn't it? So it's swept. Still early. We're still just at the IBL. This can still trade lower if it wants to, but the low-hanging fruit trades have gone. Have to think about a potential failed auction here. They're adding liquidity on the book, all right, at 25, at 50, and 75, right? They're on the book to try and lift it to come higher. That's what they want to do. Big level here into the 22K, into the IBL. Remember, it needs to flip above this to think about getting bullish and then do this kind of move. Even if you're going to think about a 15-minute, you can think about this. What imbalance has it left? We can think about 22.20 to 22 sort of 45, right? If it starts getting through that and chomping through it, then you've got to think there's upside potential. But so far, structure remains bearish. I'm thinking about the bullish play. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not taking that trigger until it proves. What I would say is if bears got trapped, are you going to let me draw it? Are you going to just be a pain? If bears get trapped in here, this is very much like yesterday. Those who were with me yesterday, we took, or you guys took it. I was focused on the short, but I called it for you. It's the same play. This imbalance here, bears force down, we hold, we trade back outside for some relief. It's the same play. Yeah, we've swept the liquidity. If we hold that and bears get trapped there, God, I had to go back a long way further than I thought. Woof. If we can hold that, then we can trade upside. But I'm not going to initiate a trade in this area. I'm going to just be patient and wait. We can do this and tap these and come to highs. That would be great. I want to get above here first. Really above this would be ideal. Flip the flow zones. Because we can still auction lower, but the low-hanging fruit trade has gone. It's definitely gone. We've taken out all the lows. Waiting for a break and a retest of that 20 level. Yeah, exactly. Break, retest, hold, and then go higher. That's exactly it. And then hopefully by then, flow zones will support that action. Right? We can't get long before then. At the moment, we're rejecting here. We're rejecting here. This is key level. I definitely don't like a short down here. I know it's potential to move lower, but the short, if I was going to take a short at IBL, I'd really want like a low-hanging fruit target down here to think, okay, we can go and trade into that. And just think about what a weekly is right now. Yeah, we're trading into this previous week range as well. Yeah, I mean, the max I think we go to is 860, 760, and I just don't see why it particularly needs to do that today. Coming into the balanced range from a 4-hour, like I said, so I'm not particularly bearish. I still think this is key level here to build flag to go upside. So anything under this, we do this kind of move. No reason to think we're in a higher time frame sell right now, in my opinion. Why is it only the 1 minute that does that? So it's starting to hold that imbalance or attempt to hold that imbalance. ES is still right. It's IBL right now. Previous week point of control is there. Let me have a little look. Where do you have that old point of control, my friend? Into like 760s? Zoom back. 790s. Indicator. We've checked everything now, so I'm trying to think where there's a fresh level untapped. Most of it's been tapped into. That's why I kind of trade them more like Malaysian SNR, so I use them as volume areas for a fresh tap. So like there's one at 788, but we've tapped into it. There's one at 868, but we have not tapped into that, so it's possible, but that looks like an Asia one. Uh, 2020. You mean like this? Yeah, sort of. That kind of thing is possible. It is also possible for a trend day. Don't like. I know we've taken low hanging fruit, but if it wants to go into a sell, if they're just gonna sell all day, that is possible. We are technically underneath IBL. Remember, all the time we're under IBL, it is possible to have a sustained auction lower. We've taken the low hanging fruit, so there's less things to gun for here. Unless it wants to come all the way down into, what day was this? Thursday last week. Can fill that whole imbalance if it wants to. if it wants to. It is possible. I'm leaning more towards thinking there'll be a failed auction here. It doesn't have to do it. It really does not have to do it. It's why I'm not pulling the trigger early. But if it shows me, okay, we want some relief in the market. But so far, the market is an absolute bloodbath right now. Right, Dixie 1/3% up. VIX up 3.77%. Just basing out at the highs right now. Apple down 1/4%. No, sorry, 0.15%. Microsoft down 2/3%. Amazon down 1.72%. Google down 1.27%. Meta pretty much flat. Nvidia down 0.8 or 0.78%. Tesla down over 2%. All right, so market is in a bit of a bloodbath. It's bleeding a little bit hit on the mag. YM. I mean, it's inside its IB. It's just sort of basing out down here. Still looks bearish, YM, until proves otherwise. And it's only the Qs where I keep getting these issues on the indicator. If my indicator's gone weird, I'm going to have the code looked at, but I don't understand why it would suddenly mess up. So remember, we've got a new hourly bar coming in 3 minutes. All right, in 3 minutes. So if we think about what the hourly likes to do, we talked about it. Last hourly closed here. We traded back inside to take all those shorts out. Smart money got short, and then we took the rotation down. So here, we can think about the same thing. Right? We can think about the same thing. Maybe we close here and we come and fill this imbalance all the way back up. It's possible. These are big hourly candles, right? So if we close like around here, we're going to leave this as a void to maybe trade back up into. These are the flow zones, mate. These are, so everything's on here. My flow zones with the signals, with the initial balances and all the previous day levels, like everything's on here. My whole strategy is in here. So we moved to a sell from pre-market, which we missed because I was talking. I think that was even before we got on stream, and we're in a sell until it proves otherwise to go back up. And then same with this box up here. No worries, Jack. I can't remember, Jack, if you're doing the course or done the course, but you get it for free with the course. I genuinely can't remember if you've bought it or not, or doing it. But yeah, you get it for free with the course. Same as the Discord comes for free with the course. We are starting to see a little bit of tapering here, folks. All right, so we've gone from very steep to a bit more sideways to a bit more sideways. If it keeps doing this, these are where shorts get stuck, right? When we create ranges and we taper. A long here can just be counter trend today. It doesn't have to come all the way back up. Just remember that. We're sort of trying to hold this imbalance that we talked about. We're trying to hold this imbalance. How long until a new hourly? 1 more minute. 1 minute until a new hourly bar here. ES back to its IB high, IB low again. God, IB high. Can you imagine? It would have been a hell of a rip. NQ doing the same. Do I enter with market orders or limit orders? Where possible, limit orders. Where possible, because I don't want the slippage. So where possible, limit orders, especially if I'm on a dip buy, I'm looking to leave my limit in there to get filled. When I can't, when I want to join quickly, sometimes I might just do like buy the bid or sell the ask. Right, so at least I don't get completely slipped. But I try not to market in where possible. If I'm just joining momentum, like, yeah, I need to get into this now, that's a whole different story. This is starting to look like more and more like a failed auction here, folks. 7 seconds, 5 seconds until we get that new H1 candle. Let's see what we do on this H1. Can we get a pullback inside before like a drive higher? Apparently not. Apparently we're just going to drive higher. So watching this for this failed auction. How high can we go? So you can see why I like these failed auctions once we've taken the liquidity. Trading inside, trading above these now. If we start basing out here, all short. So I wouldn't want to be you. If we start basing out here, we can go all the way back up to 20, well, definitely to 22.50, maybe to 22.74. So we'd love a way of getting involved in this. Previous day low is going to be key. Where I'm saying that, previous day low on the ES, that's what we're tapping into right now. If ES sells hard against that, it's going to be hard to get too much relief. Okay, so the SPY is already through it. The ES is tapping into it. We are obviously above it on the NQs. So just being aware of the positional plays. Looking good here, though. Lots of selling. 120 lot into 25s. Remember, 120 lot into 25s. And then another sort of 100 stacked just above him. Hello, chat. Only getting on now as I was setting up a new eval account. Hey, Ryan. Hope you're good, mate. It'd be nice, wouldn't it, if we can get some sort of pullback, some sort of indication that we're going to hold the IBL. Right, we don't just want a sweep and a fade all the way in. Right, we've got a new imbalance coming in here. Right, we want sort of these levels to start to hold. All right, something like this would be really good. That would give relief. Don't want it to fade back under here, really. If this is a sweep of these levels and a roll, that would be a problem. We would like exactly some... Can you talk on a Friday, Alex? Some kind of bull flag would be good. Again, ES, I'm watching that previous day low. All right, tagged into it, and so far found some selling up there. That's the one thing I'm a little bit aware of. Oh, nice, Ryan. I'm sorry to hear that, though. That is a pain, but I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, so bulls trying to take control here. There is a ton of orders here from 25 to 35. Ton of selling up there. 25 to 35. That is basically an imbalance on the M15. All right, so if they bear flag this and we drift under here, we can rotate violently. I'm just waiting to see if bulls can start to come in here and find bids and change the structure for some more upside. But M15, we're still very bearish. I want to see us hold sort of in and around these levels where we're at now. Failure to do that will not allow me to enter anything. This is where we just squeezed out from. Think about that H1 as well. If the H1's going to do the same thing, tap inside and fail, it's going to be a problem. Just being patient here. The ES failing on that drive up to previous day low. That's the biggest problem right now, is ES is failing a daily level. All right, so ES is underneath previous day low. On the NQ, we're obviously above it. None of those sellers got filled up there into 25s and 30s so far. Back towards these lows here. Big areas here. If it cannot hold this, it's going to be a problem. So far, starting to see some absorption. Same kind of level. All right, we will need to see this for relief. If we get failure here after sweeping this and it comes back underneath here, all longs are off the table at that point. We didn't even get into that M15 imbalance, didn't even get up there to those sellers. Do still think there's a failed auction possibility here, but just have to let it build out. Like I said, the biggest problem is the ES and its previous day low hanging above us. If ES was trading above the PDL, like we are in the NQ, I think we have higher probability of a squeeze higher. VIX has sort of peaked out, though, trading back into 16s. If it starts letting go of its IB high and trading inside, that would be help us for confluence for that move back inside today's range. The low-hanging fruit trade is gone. Remember, we've taken the low-hanging fruit trade. The only trades we've got left now are a failed auction for a move back to VWAP or a sustained auction for a move lower. I don't know where it's going to go if it's going lower. Can't hold these levels though. There's not much long opportunity on the table here. Has to hold these levels. That's really odd, Ryan, that you only had that issue with Tradeify. So weird. Sorry to hear that. What are we doing? Are we going to failed auction? Can we flip the flow zones? Can we hold? We can try and hold this little tapering downtrend right now for the move up. Nothing confirmed still. Momentum's still downside right now, even though we've had that little pop up. We need to trap more sellers if there's any chance of going higher. Right now, they came straight back in on the ES previous day low and just slammed it straight back down. 2-minute flow zones on the ES holding very, very strong today. Every time we've drifted into it, finding a sell. Back to the IBL here on the ES. Back to this where I felt like shorts probably got trapped under here. So we're back to that key level. If they start covering, we can move higher. If they do not, and we can get a sustained auction. What am I seeing here from Trump? What is this man saying now? Germany's Chancellor Scholz and Zelensky agree that Ukraine must have a seat at the table in future peace talks. So that goes against what Trump said. European defense chiefs are to hold an emergency meeting with Ukraine. Trump hosts governors at the White House has been pushed back to 11:30, so in 23 minutes. So I wasn't even aware of that. So you are going to have Trump and the governors talking in 23 minutes' time. Just be aware of that, team. Like we know, anything can be said with that guy. He can literally say absolutely anything. Market trying to hold here. It's trying to hold those key levels. We're going to start squeezing. We're going to look to join. If this can create some form of bull flag, we're going to look to join. So far, just hanging out at the IBL. No big trigger yet. Letting this do the dance. Letting it build liquidity for it to make its mind up. If it wants to drift lower today, that's fine. That is also fine. I'm just running out of places where I can think it can come to. Like all I can really think about is a daily move into 863. Let me have a look if there's any imbalances here on the hourly or 4 hour that we can drift into. There's an old wick down to 893. It's tapping into a same level. Just don't see why it would need to do that. Maybe down, yeah, maybe down into low 900s, 890s is possible. If it really wants to. It doesn't need to do that, but if it really wants to do that, it can. So just letting this build out. Made good money today on the short side already. Just letting this build out. Remember, Trump talking in like 20 minutes. This is why I have a news feed in the room. I would never have known that was happening. I know it gets boring now, team, but this is what it's like. We get the trade and then we have to wait. We have to wait. Bear flag or bull flag? Main momentum is downside. Low-hanging fruits have been taken. So I would prefer the failed auction because the low-hanging fruits have been taken. But if we're going to get an auction, we have to think about where we can get to. Maybe, like I said, maybe we can come into 893. Maybe I should mark that out, an old wick. Let me move this. 893. All right, here is an old wick down here. Is that right? I want to make sure I get it spot on. Yeah, pretty much. If it really wants to wash, then maybe down there, but I don't see why it needs to go lower. What I'm saying is, if we're going to remain bullish, higher time frame, it doesn't need to go lower unless it's for a trap for next week, which is fine. If we get through that, 855, and then the 20-day for a full mean reversion would be back to the 20-day. We're definitely coming into levels where I'd prefer to think about longs than I'd prefer to think about shorts. All right, bear with me, team. Bear with me, team. Coffee's going through me real quick today. Be right back. All right, we're back. Let's see what you guys are saying in chat. Sorry, check this out for a minute. Well, I can't move the chat. What is going on? OBS. I mean, major tech issues this week. I'm gonna have to reopen the chat. What is going on here? There we go. All good. It worked. Got the 80% discount. Nice, Ryan. 907 area. Jeff. 907. Yeah, a bit below. I'm looking at like that H1 wick way back if it really wants to go. Now we look like we're going to do that failed auction. How long between you talks? 15 minutes. This is looking a little bit better here. Starting to build out. Yeah, boring means you're not forcing anything. Exactly, Blake. Mr. Slim, you want to see lower next week? I try and avoid comments like that in my head, right? I used to say that all the time. I want to see this. I want to see this. I only want to see something if it's for like a setup rather than for the markets. I try and just trade exactly what's in front of me. Starting to break out here, starting to force this squeeze here. This 020 is key. Remember, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 500 stacked between 25 and 35 there. Christy, I would have blown my accounts today for sure if I wasn't patient. Patient pays. Yeah, patience always pays. No, I've got Aaron, I've got such a super powerful computer. It shouldn't be anything like that. ES back to previous day low again. This is a massive area on the ES. This is what I'm looking at, that daily level on the ES. If it trades through previous day low, it's going to open up the gate for a VWAP move on the ES. This is the thing. SPY now through it. We're obviously above it. Jack, currently I'm trading props. So I'm trading Apex and TraderFi. This morning I've been trading my TraderFi account. Or one of my TraderFi accounts. Yes, back to previous day low, rejecting that again. I really think there is a chance for a failed auction and a squeeze out here if we're going to start to sustain some bids. Problem is we got Mr. Orange Face talking in like 14 minutes. But it's looking good, like a potential squeeze here can start to trigger. There's a ton of orders for it to seek to try and fill if it can get going. If it can get going. If we're going to hold bids here, I'm going to look to join trend if we can hold bids here. Really, I guess above 98-ish. So much liquidity. There's so many sellers into 25s. Tons. Tons and tons and tons into 25s. If we get through that, we're going to really open up the gate for that little squeeze higher. If we can get through 25 and 35 is where the sellers are. If they're going to keep slamming this back to IBL, then we're just going to trade back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And there's a potential bigger bear flag playing out, which you need to be really careful of. That is your potential bigger bear flag. But really, I'd like to see us now start to confirm by holding some of these key levels for a squeeze back upside. Oh, I have no idea. I can tell you my build. I did it myself. I don't know if it's got a flux capacitor. I don't even know what that is. So potential bull flag here, holding the IBL. If we can hold this level here and do this and sweep these guys for a trade up to here, it would be really nice. This is what I'm looking for right now. So here's your bull flag starting to play out. They need to sustain bids though. You really want to see ES get through previous day low. Oh, sorry, mate. I'm that technical on a PC, I have no idea. The bull flag's starting to play out here. I am in this long, looking fantastic. Here we go. So making sure, watching 25s into 35s. Remember, all the liquidity is there between 25s and 35s. Hopefully some of you are in this with me. Like I said, we wanted to see it hold this RBS level right here. It's starting to play out. You can see we're filling into those supply levels up above. All right, we have sellers here 25 to 35. This is where all the big selling is. That is also an M15 imbalance. So if we get through that, we can continue to squeeze higher. ES is knocking on the door here at the previous day low. It's big levels here. Big levels. If we reclaim previous day low, then all shorts on ES who auctioned underneath previous day low are going to get stuck. If we start reclaiming this M15 imbalance, there is a potential drift higher. Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. It's a good comment. It just went straight over my head. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't know. Did I put one of those in? Should have got that, shouldn't I? Marty McFly. What was the doctor called? Forget his name. Was it just Doc? Okay, so we're filling most of those guys up there. 30 is still on the book. 150 lot at 30 still looking to get filled. ES now through previous day low. It's got another 20 seconds left. I'd need to see it close up here and through it. We still have not flipped any M15 imbalance. We're just building out here. If we can't get through the M15 imbalance, if we can't get through or up into these levels, this can still be a giant bear flag. All right, can still be a giant bear flag. I just want to make you aware of that. We can build out a range here. Very much like yesterday, it took a long time to build out that range. But in theory, we should be pushing higher right now. We should be doing a failed auction for a drive higher. Doesn't have to do it, though. I just want to remind you that. Doesn't have to do anything. It's still in this long, looking for that squeeze. The trouble is this guy at 30. Need him to get out of the way. We've got some front running, people selling in front of him. 139 lot at 30, 140 lot, 160 lot. He's just increasing size, 150 lot. So they're dancing around here. There's some front running in front of it. Yep. Yep. Bull flag, bull flag, bull flag. But we're trading. Remember, this is counter trend on this session. We're looking for relief based on the initial balance low for a trade up. But we have to trade through, really get through all these flow zones, flick everything over, get through the M15 imbalance. Then we can really think about a good drive higher. How long we got until? We only got 9 minutes until Orange Face talks as well. So anything can be said. Looking good here though, team. Still holding this. I would love to just see a trade through it and try not to take any profit. Might not have a choice here. Ooh. So remember, there's a big imbalance here, M15. You'll see it on the M15. We're tapping into it. If we get through this, then honestly, all this is easy liquidity we can run for. Otherwise, we're just looking for a trade from here into here and then holding runners for the VWAP. Remember, IBL to VWAP, very common trade, very common trade. Tell you what we can do as well. We can put an anchor on off the pivot low. Let's do that as bright blue. Okay, that's our anchor off the lows. So remember, seller here at 30, getting very close. Where do we get there? 28.75, still front running him. And it's starting to add liquidity a bit higher now. Starting to see it come onto the tape, 25, 50s, etc., etc. So can they absorb these levels? Remember, this can be a giant bear flag. I want to make you aware of that. I'm watching this hourly. Where can we trade up to? We're trading up towards value area low here into 40. I want to be very cautious of that. If we start to reclaim and reprice this hourly, we can go back to 81s. Can ES hold previous day low here? I'm not saying whether Trump is awesome or bad. I'm just calling him Mr. Orange Face because his face is orange. That's just what it is. Like I said, I'm not commenting on politics. I will only trade what's on the chart, but he is talking in 7 minutes' time. That's what he's doing. It's gold from Fort Knox, yeah. There's some pretty big comments on that yesterday, weren't there? He was talking so late last night, like still doing interviews at the Republican conference so late last night. I was watching to see what would be said. It was just mainly the same rhetoric. There was no like big change in any opinion. Tell you what I did watch last night is I flipped between all the news channels in America, and I tell you what, none of them do news. They all have such big opinions on everything. It's like, just show me what was said. I don't care about your opinion. I'll form my own one. I just want to see what's said because I need to be aware of it for the markets. Oh yeah, he is full of stimulants. Like, I don't think he's ever denied that. He takes stuff for his mental sharpness and stuff. I don't think that's ever been denied. So they've thinned out at 30. Most of that selling left at 30 now. They didn't get filled. They just left the tape. So some of it got filled, but most of it left the tape. Still think there's a trade higher here, but do not like it when we build liquidity like this. I don't like it because we can do that very easily. 5 minutes left. Yes, just about above previous day low here. Like just about. I wish NinjaTrader would fix it so you could press Control Z when you accidentally move a drawing. It would really be great. Maybe I'll email them about that. So seller at 30 and then a seller up at 50. Remember, this can be a giant bear flag if they start to let it go. ES now trading back inside its previous day low. It's a precarious kind of move here. The market wants to get weak, it will get weak. It can do whatever it wants to do right now. We've got that anchored VWAP, which is right by the IBL. And we've got flow zones. Remember, flow zones have not flipped the deep pullback. All right, we haven't done this here. These have not flipped. So there we go. Selling all the way back down now into that anchor. Dang. Big old sell. Maybe should have taken profit before I took that stop. Some big volume coming in here. Is he talking early? That's pretty big vol. Still watching for the same setups, but ES there failed to reclaim its previous day low. I would say that's a big moment on the ES. Would have liked to see it base above that. We come all the way back down to the bottom of that squeeze now. Remember, this is the channel. I'm going to get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. Choppy day down here. All liquidity just left the book as well. So everyone's just left. Thinned right out now. Yeah, like I said, previous day low, JD. Previous day low. Wanted to see ES base above that for a potential squeeze back to VWAP for that inside play from initial balance back up to the VWAP. That's what we were looking for. Hourly just in a straight sell. M5 holding us down, M15 holding us down. We tapped into that M15 gap and found some selling there. Still no confirmation. Yeah, I took a break even there, unfortunately. It just is what it is. It is what it is. Half an hour left until I'm going to bug out of here. Watching this carefully. There's big volume that came in on that sell. Trump now talking. I'm going to negotiate with Russia and Ukraine. Let's see what this guy's got to say. See how much he can scare this market. Iron to small profit. Some of you locked some in. That's good, guys. I really wanted to take 30 out. So maybe got a bit greedy there for that play because it was a nice play. Maybe just a little bit greedy. I was looking for too much on it. Thinking that we could have traded through, but it might still happen now. Every pop starting to be sold into, though, here. It doesn't look very good for any return upside right now, I'm going to say. Might Micro bear flag might be the bigger bear flag for the breakdown here. You have to be very, very careful. We don't know what he's saying. The book is very, very thin. Anything can happen here. Anything can happen here. Ukraine has no cards to play with. What he has to be careful with how he's talking is when it ruffles feathers with the European Union, which is what has started to happen. That's why Germany started to push back against it this morning. That will cause problems. You'll get into issues with trade then. No worries, Arturo. Have a great day. You too. So there's a buyer down at 950. And there's a seller up at 020 and 030 and 050. There's a buyer down at previous day low. 15-minute remains bearish here. How long until a new M5? Trying to see. There's no balances on the M5 today. It's been very, very efficient in how it's built price. We are teetering on this edge. If it builds a new bear flag down here, really you'd want it to build a bear flag under here if it's going to wash. I don't love these trades here right now. Still think there's upside relief possible in this market after taking low hanging fruit. But who knows? Who knows? Only half an hour left till lunch. Talking about deep seek devices. Fed's talking as well. I just see Jefferson talking at the same time. Jefferson does not comment on monetary policy or the economic outlook in prepared remarks. Senator Cotton asks Vought to ban DeepSeek from US government devices. Lots of news hitting the wire here. You got multiple Fed talkers and Trump talking right now. What are we doing here? We're going to go all the way back up? Are we going to do the move now? What are you doing, market? Doing the dance between IB and previous day low on the ES. Similar kind of dance on the Qs, but we're stacked the other way around. I really still think there is a chance for a move to VWAP. It just would have to get going, but it needs to come and get through this now. This, and this is possible. That's what I'm thinking. Needs to get through these guys up here. We know there was strong selling up there, but they've left the tape now, so maybe we get let through. Point of control has been built down here now. Most of the volume on the day has been built down here now on the hourly. Very, very thin, this book right now, just as a warning, team. We are in a thin book. Do they find sellers up here again, or do they just let this through? Watching this upside for a trade, for a squeeze if we're going to go. Here we go. Can we get through? Don't just slam the door again. It'll be hard to trade if they slam the door on this. Gonna have to look for a dip back down into that BPR and see if it holds the flow zones. It's a bit thin. There's some selling at 30 and 50, but it is thin. It's not like we've got orders stacked around right now. It's a bit thin for sure. Holding this channel. We are holding this channel. ES back to that previous day low. Still cannot get a close above it and a hold. Yeah, I still think the market wants to drift higher only because there's less things for it to aim for down low right now. Basically what I'm thinking. But, you know, we're back to that level we just failed from 5-10 minutes ago. But there's less selling up here now. If he says something bullish, we can really get going. But it's a big ask. It is a big ask. Remember, we're tapping into that M15 imbalance again. There you go. Finding sellers exactly the same place so far. So the question now is, do we hold sort of into, let's just call it 200s, that kind of level? Aaron saying he used flow zones just on bonds today and it worked really well. That's nice to hear. What were you trading? Like the 10 years or something? Jefferson starting to give comments as well now. This is the fear now. We've got a lot of talking in this market all of a sudden. UB and MB. Give the market some Viagra. Yeah, finding selling exactly the same area up here. This is like the M15 block that we talked about, imbalance up here. Right? It's basically here. We were looking for this trade to here. It just doesn't want to let it through. They're protecting it. Very, very thin. Didn't even make it to the top of the channel this time. Starting to rotate back down, same level. Anchored VWAP, IBL, same thing. If they start to let this go, it's going to be a problem. If they let it through, we can go for the VWAPs up higher, which is what we're looking for. We would like this to trade higher right now. Makes sense to trade higher, but maybe they haven't caught enough down low. I don't know. ES looks a bit better here, back towards previous day low. Can it get a pop and drive through on the ES? Market's still bleeding, other than Apple. Apple caught 0.5% up. Tesla's still heavy. Can we do this then? Is this a new bull flag and hold? It's very tight here between, look at the anchor view up, the IB low, the flow zones and the deep pullback. It's very, very, very tight here. It's almost better to wait for it to make a decision. I would just like this to tear the upside right now. Come on, market. Here we go. Come on, get through this time. This is like my 5th time of asking you. Looking better. Come on. No sellers up here now. There's some at 30. We should just get through this time. Come on. Oh my God. Like, how many times? Who is front running that? It really shouldn't be hard. There's no one here on the book. We should get through 30. The amount of front running going on into that is actually kind of pathetic. Yeah, Nvidia down 3.1%. I see that. I see that. It's definitely the heaviest in the market. What's SMCI doing today? Not a lot. Of course, of course. Flipping technology, mate. Come on. You've got to get going. You've got to get going. It really is not that hard. Like, just get going and go for point of control and VWAP, honestly. So normal rotation is not even asking for a lot to go from a rotation to here. It's really not asking for a lot. There's not much on the tape. It's just the M15 imbalance. I want to get up in towards these levels. And if we can start squeezing through those, I'll think about an ad. But this is just crap, man. I'm getting ready to get off. It's that bad. Google almost 2% down as well. Market is heavy. Maybe we just can't get that rotation today. Maybe we just base out down here for next week, which, like I said, is not a bad thing. Maybe looking for that rotation today is a day early. But I was only looking for a push to VWAP. It's not like I'm looking for a lot. Basically, they're defending the edge of the volume here into 25. So after that, it gets thin all the way into 70s, really. Most volume on the day has been traded into 92 now. I still think this has got a chance to move higher. What's Chevron saying? Just see that now as well. Estimates worldwide oil equivalent production 2025 will increase 6% to 8% over 2024, assuming a 70 per barrel Brent price annual report. Fed Jefferson, efficient asset prices will help Fed policy transmissions. AI affects the speed at which, that should say, speed at which policy incorporated its asset prices. Reading between the lines, textual analysis of central bank communication. There's nothing going on. This is just nonsense right now. Gold still up. I've got gold down on the session. 4 points down on the session. So chopped back down again. It cannot get through that. So I think I'm probably going to leave it alone now. It's had enough chances to get through and it hasn't done it. And it's made a lower high on that last attempt. That was a failed attempt to move higher. That is probably me done for the day, team. Maybe it goes without me into lunch, and that's also okay. Russia doesn't view sanctions relief as key to deal with Trump. I just don't like, if it can't get a rotation from IB to VWAP, if ES is going to keep selling into previous day low, then we get no relief. I don't like the idea of taking a short down lower because I haven't got a clear target to aim for. So what that means is I'm running out of things to aim for and trade. Yeah, I'm running out of targets to trade for. So I'm probably going to call it a day here. I know it's 15 minutes early, but I don't see anything setting up right now. So I'm not going to be in a hurry. We will be back Monday, as we always are. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone. Trade safe if you're going to trade here the rest of the day. Remember, it's OPEX. Got lower volume on a Friday, especially in the afternoon, unless something changes. We had a lovely short today. Made some really good money on that. Not willing to give any money back in the rest of this session. And see you then. Be kind to each other. Make sure you get off the screens this weekend. Peace and love. Speak to you soon.